We coming to you live with that smooth, jammy jams coming with ya. Smelling good, feeling good, and licking all the goodness all around your body. Let's get into it live as we talk about some Last of Us just coming at ya all over your face tonight. Coming live in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. What's up, everybody? I guess we could talk about all the goodness that happened with this game with the show. Because if some of you may not have known, Last of Us definitely had an HBO show that was announced a while ago, and the bastards did it. They actually did it. They did a damn live show adaptation of Last of Us on HBO for a video game. Who does a live action adaptation of a video game? Nobody. But these crazy bastards actually did it. A live variation of Last of Us game all the way through. And I'd have to say it was the worst thing I've ever seen. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's actually really fucking good. It was pretty fucking badass. It is probably, and I'll probably tweet it out later, it is probably the best adaptation of a video game that I've seen since Castlevania. They knocked it out of the park. There's a couple little quirks here and there, but for the most part, Last of Us television show, or streaming series, whatever the fuck it is now these days, was pretty damn spot on. Like they killed it. And this is just the first episode. Hopefully it doesn't go downhill. Some shows tend to do that, and they are probably gonna go the way of the entire story. The problem with this thing, and the only problem with this thing, is the fact that I personally know exactly where this is gonna go, but I'm curious to see what they actually do with the whole thing, as far as what do they take several liberties, and where do they actually decide to follow the storyline. This was a great adaptation. They followed the damn thing to a book thus far, and I hope they do the rest of the series the game justice. If season 1 ends at the end of the game, then I'll probably watch until season 1, because if they do season 2 and it's an adaptation of Last of Us Part 2, the game, I don't want anything to do with it. We'll keep focus on The Last of Us Part 1 with this game and this show to the first fucking game, and then we'll leave it at that. Outside of that, I don't want anything to do with any part of Last of Us Part 2. If they start adaptationing, Part 2 and stuff like that, I don't even care. I will not give a shit, because they're gonna probably give it the justice that it needs, which is the straight adaptation of what they're doing so far with this game, and it is going to be just as ass as the game. So we don't want that. But they're doing a fantastic job right now. I actually really like the characters too. They did a damn good job. So you know what? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about all the good stuff that happened. And spoilers. We're gonna be doing spoilers. So spoiler alert. There will be spoilers. So spoilers. I'm gonna spoil you. So I hope you guys don't get too crazy in the chat. Abby getting rammed? More like Abby doing the ramming. That's what I like to see. Sexing is the worst thing of part 2. That is the best thing of part 2. Are you crazy, DT? Again, why is everybody so upset with the Abby sex scene? That's crazy. Doesn't anybody in the chat realize how good that was? It was without that scene, you would have no idea what's going on in the entire story. HBO executives are gonna force Neil to keep Joel alive. I would hope so. I'm gonna be honest. Man. Um, they get if season 1 ends, like I said before, if season 1 ends with the same way that it ended for the game, then that means they'll probably go the same way of the video game for part 2. If season 2 is the same way of the game in part 2, I don't want to see it. But if they change to a few things, add some liberties, blah blah blah, I'm all for it. So if they do keep the character, which is Joel, in part 2, I will officially enjoy that show more than the fucking game itself, and I'm all here for it. But we'll have to wait and see. All the way past season 1, then we have to wait until like a year, maybe another year or two before they even finish production on the second season. We already know this show is going to be a hit. Like, there's no way around it. This show is going to be a hit, only because of the fact that it's starting off so damn well. Like, the adaptation of the game and this show is spot on right now. They may have gotten a couple things kind of funny, but for the most part, they're knocking it out of the park. Again, I haven't seen this close of an adaptation to a video game since Castlevania. And even Castlevania took some liberties as well. So they're really doing a great job of doing that transition. It's the transition. How do you make this video game into a live action show or movie and do it well? That is the most difficult thing to do, and I think they're doing it fucking fantastically. And let's start talking about some motherfucking spoilers, huh? Talk about some motherfucking spoilers. Yo, why is my voice so high? What's the word? The depressing world that they're in after the fall. So that makes sense because Joel's job in the video game wasn't depressing enough, and they needed to move that over there anyway. And besides, it didn't matter because in the game Joel was kind of a hustler, and in the show he's kind of a hustler. So his main job in the show was never a factor. It was the idea of what he was doing on the side, and he was always doing something on the side with what's her name, Tay. I wonder if they'll do like a spin-off series if this show becomes successful. That is, if the show becomes successful, I wonder if they'll do a spin-off series talking about the factions. You know, that'd be kind of sick. The More of Us. Yeah, I want to watch that show instead. Thinking 10 steps in the future. Well, we already know the show's gonna be successful. Just based on the way that it's going right now, the show is gonna be successful. I can already tell. Like it feels like, and again, I'll be jinxing it. To be honest, I'll probably be jinxing it, but the show feels like they're going to do everything right from the start, and I'm all here for it. You know, like, it's like one of those shows that those brand new shows that you just know, yo, this is gonna be a smash hit, just like Velma. Like, damn, you know, like Velma, dude, that show is so fucking good. Let's talk about, let's go from the beginning. Let's go from the beginning to end in here. I absolutely love the character, and yes, we're getting into spoilers territory, so here we go, chat. I absolutely love Joel's daughter in this show. Like, absolutely love her. I thought she was an amazing fucking cast, and she was perfect for the fucking role. Like, absolutely knocked it out of the park. The only thing that I wish they would have done was keep her alive in some way, shape, or form. There should have been a way to keep her alive, because I just wanted to see more of her in the show. Unfortunately, they have to do what they got to do, and they had to give her the axe. And I hope to see the actress in a lot more stuff later on down the road, because she did a damn good job. And that is definitely what Hollywood needs right now, is good, brand new actors and actresses doing what they do in first. I don't know why, but she reminded me of freaking, oh my god, I totally forgot her name. Spider-Man's girlfriend. I don't know why. She gives me what's her name's vibes. That will tell me in a second, because I fucking forgot her name. But outside of that, majority of the first show, which Zendaya, there you go, thank you, Zendaya. Yeah, she reminds me of Zendaya. She just gives out those vibes. But it's wild that there isn't any way to like integrate her into the show consistently, unless you know, they bring her back to life, which is kind of hilarious, but sure, whatever. I think that when it comes to casting, I think that was like one of the better choices for the character. Some weirdos out there might cry about race swapping or whatever like that, but overall, I think she was a good cast character. Now, when it comes to Ellie, I said it before when I saw the trailers. I'll say it again now that I'm looking at this show. I still don't think that Ellie as a character fits the look of the Ellie that we saw in the video game. Now, that being said, I still said that the actress who did play Ellie knocked it out of the park. I think she's an amazing actress. She actually has the essence of that bratty, angsty, angry Ellie vibe that you get from the game, and she did it very well. So I think that kind of overlaps the look of her, because she doesn't really give that type of look of Ellie. She seems a little older too. That's what's kind of crazy. She doesn't seem as young as Ellie was in the game, but she plays the part. Even like the way she kicked just from the way she kicked the food away when they were trying to see her for the first time, and then she counted to 10, and then number 10 was fuck you. Like, you could tell she's got the attitude down. So I'm starting to believe that the directors probably made the entire cast play the game all the way through so that they can get an idea of the characters, and this isn't some sort of cheap ass Hollywood knockoff of a bunch of actors that don't even know the source material, and they're just trying to play the fucking part. Like, I don't believe that they are doing that. I feel like the cast actually know the characters, and they're working as much as they can to fill that gap of, or not fill the gap, but in order to fill the role of or portray, there you go, not fill, in order to portray the roles of the characters as accurate as possible. And I think they're doing a great job. So again, the look may not be there, but the acting sure is there, and that trumps the look tenfold. So Ellie definitely gets an A+ for me. Joel, obviously, 10 out of 10. A big surprise was it was Tess, right? Yeah, her name is Tess. Yeah, a big surprise was Tess. I didn't think that they would find an actress that could play Tess accurately, but she's doing a great job. She's doing a fucking fantastic job. They changed up a lot of stuff with the show already. You know, Tess gets beat up at the beginning, and like you guys said before, Joel has a different job. If you noticed at the beginning, before they went to the future, Joel's brother and his daughter were in the truck, and they're trying to escape the pandemic, and instead of the car getting knocked over by another car, the car got knocked over by an airplane, a crashing airplane. So that's a little tidbit that was like, okay, you know what, that's kind of cool, because they're trying to show off the panic that everybody's going through at that time, and I thought that was a nice little nod. Joel switching jobs wasn't a big deal. That was silly. You didn't think that was cool? I thought it was kind of cool. I think a plane crashing and causing the car to flip over than another car. And you know what? They actually did a nod to that too. They actually showed a car was about to knock him over, but then it didn't. And then I was like, oh, okay, where are they going with this? and then a plane does it anyway. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. So again, Joel changing jobs is completely irrelevant because he's a side hustler. He hustles on the side. The whole idea that the Fireflies get taken out by the crew that was supposed to be taken out by Joel and Tess. So the crazy thing is that in the game, Joel and Tess go through this whole thing to take out the crew that double crossed them in the game. But in the show, the crew get taken out by the Fireflies. So I think that that's a really good twist if you want to move the story along, because it kind of just stretches out the story in the game for no unnecessary reason, just because of the fact that, oh, they're trying to show that this is what Joel does in the in the city, or in the rundown city of Boston, is the fact that he's a hustler and he's taking out these people that are trying to double cross him. It's like in the game, you're like, okay, we get it. We have to go through this whole side story just to show that that's what he does, as opposed to the show where they kind of explain it a little bit and you just get it. You just get the idea. You're like, okay, this is what they do. So in order to move the plot along, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. And the motivation is a little different, because now Joel is trying to get to his brother, as opposed to him realizing, oh, we can find a safe haven with my brother if we go this way, after the fact of dealing with Ellie. So that's a nice little motivational nod that's a little different from the game. But again, it doesn't really take away from too much of the game. I think even with those tiny little side deviations, they still kept the premise of the overall theme of the game to a complete T, and I think that was great. We're gonna see a lot, and I mean a lot of little tidbits here and there, I think, all the way through, just so that they can keep the pace going. And I think that's what it really comes down to, is how do you keep the pace going as opposed to the game, because the game does. I mean, even at the last part of this episode, where they saw the security guard when they're trying to escape at the beginning, that's like a whole mission in the game, and it takes forever to get from point A to point B in the game. In this part, it's one little section where they meet the guy, kick his ass, take his shit, and then they find out Ellie, has the virus in her or whatever like that, and then they just move on. So it's not like this whole drawn out side mission that takes a whole fucking 30 to 45 minutes of game time, as opposed to them just hashing out in like the 5 to 10 minutes. That's the thing that's so difficult when it comes to video games versus television shows or movies or animes or whatever like that, is how do you adapt that how do you adapt those long moments in a video game and explain it inside of a movie or a television show or whatever like that. That stuff isn't easy, and to actually accurately portray that stuff without pissing off the audience is damn near impossible. You're gonna piss some people off. Like gameplay segments, like how do you do that? How do you transition to that well? And I think they did that pretty fucking good in this game, or in the show. It's the same thing with books. Like, how do you portray translate a book well onto a movie? Shawshank Redemption, I'd say it was like a good adaptation of the book, but then you go to like what was that? The Dan Brown books and shit like that. Like, that was like probably like the worst adaptation of a book I've ever seen. What was it? What was his most famous one? The Da Vinci Code. There you go. Yeah, the Da Vinci Code. Yeah, that was like the worst adaptation of a fucking book I've ever seen in a movie. And that's because, you know, when people read books, they get so much long-winded details of backgrounds and atmosphere and settings and characters and all this stuff like that. You're getting so much information when you look at a book, and then when they actually adapt it to a movie, you're like, it's missing everything that made the fucking book good. When you do that with a video game that goes into the fucking details of everything that has to go with the characters, and then you try to adapt that to a movie or a television show, you're gonna be missing a lot of shit. It's just guaranteed. So you want to take it with a little bit of nuance. The only detail that I really want to see in the show that was in the game itself was the Abby sex scene. Like, we need to see that, like, in full detail in the show. If they don't do that in the show, what is the point? Like, they can't make a decent show adaptation of the game without seeing Abby's gigantic arms all over that man, just grabbing his neck and thrusting, consistent thrusting. I need to see it. That is a pivotal part of the story of the game and the show. Without it, they have nothing. They have no. We need to see Abby's arms. We need to see it. It's important. It is important. No, we don't need this. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Man, chat. You have no taste. It is it's pretty embarrassing. I can't believe this. But I think overall we're gonna see a lot of. Even at this point, I hope they keep Tess alive as long as possible. She seems like a lot of fun to watch that character actually make her way through the story as long as she can. Obviously, she's gonna get the boot as well, but I would like to see where they go with that character before the end. So that'd be kind of cool. I want to see what they do with Bill. Who's gonna play Bill? The only person I could see playing Bill was Jack Black. Like, that's just like my brain instantly says Bill, Jack Black, perfect. Like, there's no other character, no other actor that can play that character. So I'm curious to see who plays Bill and who could play. You know what's funny? When I saw the character that was giving Joel the credits at the quarantine zone, if some of you guys are actually paying attention to that part, when Joel was getting credits and the guy was like, and Joel was like, what else he got? And the guy was like, oh, you got sewage duty or more cleanup. And he was like, which one pays more? And he was like, the one that picks up shit. That guy looked like fucking Bill. I was like, what the fuck is that, Bill right there? Like, what the hell's going on? Like, for me, I was like, why the hell is Bill there? I don't know why. I just, like, for some reason that felt like that what it was. I do like the idea of how they explained how the Fireflies lose Ellie and give them up to Joel. It was weird because that part where I forget the leader of the Fireflies, I already forgot her name. She goes to her partner, like, the partner says, dude, I can take Ellie, like, let me take her. And then she goes, you don't even have a fucking ear, like, nah, stop it, like, you can't even hear right now. And then she's like, okay, never mind. And I'm like, bitch, she heard you. She can hear just fine. So why are you fucking yelling at her? It's like Marlene. Yeah, right? Yeah, yeah, Marlene yells, it's like, bitch, you ain't even got an ear. So why are you even trying to talk to me right now? And it's like, she just heard you say that. She's fine. Let her take Ellie. Like, what's the problem? Yeah, she can take her. So let her go. Let her go. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But I guess in order for, wait, what? No shit. That's the original Marlene from the game? No way. That's the same actress. No way. Wow. Not bad. Okay, see, there you go. Character authenticity. Wow, that's really good. That's kind of good. That's really good. That's awesome. The casting is absolutely crazy. I would say the same thing if it wasn't for Ellie. But again, I think I think what happened is that they saw what the actress was capable of doing in casting, and they realized that she was perfect for the part. In that respective. So yeah, some people you can't replace. Yeah, I guess. I mean, Marlene is unreplaceable. Okay. Okay. I mean, she's doing a bang up job so far. So again, another character that's probably gonna bite the dust that I would definitely like to see make it through season 2. The problem with Last of Us Part 2 is that there are no likable characters. All of the likable characters basically died in Part 1. I would say that Bill is a likable character and he survives, but he's nowhere to be found in Part 2. So, if after season 1 they move on to new characters and we get, you know, fucking Abby and the rest of the shit cast that's in the season 2, or that's in part 2, like I don't know how I'm gonna feel about that show. The only, and I mean the only saving grace that this show could pull off in season 2 is to keep Joel alive. If they know what's good for them, they'll realize that killing off Joel was a big mistake in the game, and I guarantee you that the majority of the people who are watching season 2 of this show will not have a problem with them taking liberties on keeping Joel alive in season 2. I kind of disagree. I loved Abby, Lev, and Yara. What is that exactly that you loved about those characters? Please explain, Rizzy. I would love to hear it. Yeah, I think the best thing they could possibly do is keep that character alive. And maybe stretch him out into like maybe 4 seasons, maybe. And then we can really get a grasp of the actress that's playing Ellie, and then maybe in some way, shape, or form have her move on her own. But if they do him dirty like they did in part 2, that show is going to tank so fast. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. They do not have to take the liberty that they did with the game, as the game did. The game did a cheap shot with Joel, only to move the plot ahead with Ellie, which was completely unnecessary. And it is a tropey kind of God, I don't want to say tropey. It's those things that they call I mean, and it's the same thing with cliche. There's tropes and there's cliches, and a lot of that stuff comes down to them taking the main character from whatever happened from last one, or a very good supporting character from whatever previous version, and then just killing them off right at the beginning, and then moving along with the rest of the fucking plot. And I fucking hate that, and they do that a lot. And you know what? The movie that ruined way back in the day, Blade 3. In Blade 3, they immediately killed off the Blade's assistant character. I forgot his name, but they killed him off almost immediately. And then they tried to have Blade do his own thing, but Snipes didn't like the direction that they were going, and so they legit had that character put on the backside so that what is it, Ryan Reynolds and his other sidekick chick, I don't know, the fuck could take the helm of the fucking movie, which was it was trash. They do that a lot, and in Last of Us Remastered, I'm sorry, The Last of Us 2, they did the exact same thing to Joel, and they did the man dirty. Like it almost felt like the character went out in a way that it wasn't deserved. Wesley Pipes, yeah, it was Whistler. Yes, they took out Whistler way too early, in that show, and you could tell that that's just like it's a trope, you know. It's a cliche. It's something that they do in movies all the time. We all see it. We all know it, and it's become staple whenever they do sequels. They just kill off either the previous main character or a side character that was attached to the main character, just so they can reboot the shit out of them. They do it all the time. But I'll say this: we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's see where this pans out. Let's see where the show goes. This is definitely a good watch. I hate, and I mean I absolutely fucking hate that HBO doesn't release shows all at once. Like, if you have the season already ready up to go, just release it all at once. This is a different media platform than television. People fucking hated television, but that was the only outlet they had to watch entertainment. Now that you have a streaming service, you don't need to have the episodes every single week. There's no reason to withhold that shit. You're still gonna get your money when people watch it all the way through, as opposed to you separating it every fucking week. The thing about television is that they separated it every week, and each show had horrible fucking commercials in between. We have the options to not have to do that now, and they're still doing that shit. It's fucking annoying. Steve, just wait 7 days. Stop yelling. Guess what? 7 days to watch one more episode. Bitch, I want to see the whole fucking series in 3 days. Bitch. I've been doing that since Netflix, and I've been spoiled on how good that feels. That I can watch an entire series within 3 to 5 days. Bro, I gotta wait a whole month? No, I'm sorry, not a whole month. I gotta wait like damn near 3 months to watch an entire season? Fuck all that. I might be dead within the next 3. I'm pissed. Like, I don't understand why HBO does that. Bro, just release the episodes. Do us all a favor and release like 2 episodes. Do that. Not fucking 1 episode at a time. I hate that shit, bro. Just give us give us the option to binge watch if we feel like it. Like, that's so dumb. But we'll have to wait and see, where does this actually go, how does it work, and we'll see how it actually works out, because again, the actors are amazing, and I think that this show will knock it out of the park. We have Castlevania right now that's been killing it. We have Arcane, I believe it is Arcane, right? Arcane has been killing it, but I can't say, oh, it's a perfect adaptation of the game when I've never fucking played the game. I have no idea what's going on with that game, and I have all I get is people or people that play that game that will say, oh, it's a great fucking... All I know is that the animation was great, the story was great, the characters were great. I loved Arcane, so I'll just say that. So it could be as good as Arcane, but again, those are cartoons. There hasn't been a Arcane rewrites the lore, if I recall. I have no idea. I honestly don't know. Sonic again rewrites the lore. We're talking about video game adaptations that are true to the lore, that have done it well. As far as I can recall, Mortal Kombat 1, the movie, was true to the lore, and it was live action and did it great. I would say Prince of Persia as well. Prince of Persia was kind of good. Like, it was kind of true to the adaptation of the game, but I don't think there was that much depth to Prince of Persia, to be honest. And it's a very old game, so I don't know if anybody's like, will die on that hill and be like, oh, it was terrible. Castlevania rewrites the lore a little bit, but not as much as fucking Street Fighter the Street Fighter live action movie. Resident Evil. We don't talk about Resident Evil. What's that? Netflix made a Resident Evil movie? Wait, what? I never heard of that. That's crazy. Uncharted. Woof. Oh man, Uncharted. Yeah, we don't talk about Uncharted. Uncharted? There was a live action Uncharted. Never heard of it. Wild. Assassin's Creed. I never saw it. I actually never saw it. Still waiting on that Netflix animated DMC show. Oh yeah, they're doing that. Black Wesker was something the world needed. You mean Blade? Base, you mean Blade? Because that's what that it was, literally Blade. There was the Witcher show. Okay, I'll give you guys that. From what I could tell, again, another game I never played and the show I never watched. From what I could tell, a lot of people said The Witcher was true to the lore, and it was a great adaptation. I've never saw a single fucking episode. I didn't see a single fucking episode of that, so I have no idea. I have no idea. What was it? The Witcher Origins, though. That was something else. Huh? Yeah, chat. This man said Albert Blacker. Nice. It's alright, to be honest. Season 2 is boring. Couldn't tell you. Could not tell you. Season 1 show The Witcher was faithful for the most part. It changed after first, though. Yeah, because they probably ran out of ideas, right? See, this is the thing about this show, is that they're following the script of the video game to a T. So they have a lot of material to go with. So I don't think they'll be bored. It's the second season that I'm going to be worried about. It would be kind of interesting, though, if that by the end of season 1, it's a slim chance, and I seriously doubt that'll ever happen, but it is a slim chance that at the end of season 1, they don't make it to the Fireflies headquarters, and Joel doesn't, take Ellie out, and she goes back to their brother's place or whatever like that. If they end it in between and Ellie doesn't make it to the hospital, I'd be very surprised. Also be happy too, because that means we won't have to see Abby for until season 3 or some shit. And that'll be perfect in my opinion, because that means we just get to see more dynamic between Ellie and Joel, and that's what I want to see. I want to see that. But it's a slim to none chance that they won't end the season on that note. So we'll have to wait and see. On that. But overall, fantastic show. I can't wait to see more. I love the fucking the game story. Well, part 1 anyway. And this is the perfect adaptation of what that was. They're gonna encompass everything that I loved about The Last of Us 1, and hopefully from there they'll just forget all about part 2 and just go on to factions. Maybe factions will be better. Maybe factions will have a better story, and we can just enjoy that for what it is. Can we just do that? Can we just enjoy factions instead of whatever the fuck you got with the other stuff and everything?